a lot of these companies that kind of sell that as a service and a subscription outsource to their, like, go to them anyway. So they're like the supplier
That's right.
of that scan.
That's right. A lot of these health companies just
and
use
just
them.
for the folks up there, it wasn't one of those clunk, 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 clunk down the barrel. Like, it was pretty relaxed and calm. Because a lot of people get anxiety when they talk about MRIs and that loud noise. And
Couple of things. First, you don't need a referral. You just need to provide your doctor afterwards. It's a question you get all the time. And secondly is that I suffer claustrophobia.
Mhm.
So normally if I go to the Queensland, I've had to have scans before in the big tubes. This one's not where it's head to toe in a tube, where the thing's like right
Yes.
there. I have to take an anxiety tablet if I'm going to do that. This one was far more pleasant. And so, yeah, I didn't need it, and I do suffer claustrophobia.
Yeah, well,
So,
can't wait to get that done.
I think most men, you know, are scared of, like I look at my dad as an example, scared of going to the doctors, or they just don't go because they think it's still the old school style, you know, scared of the rubber glove, you know, like it's not like that anymore. There's so many other tests that, and the technology that's come so far that you can do what you've just done, right? Like,
so you getting for the rubber glove first, Eric? Or you get what do you?
I've never had the rubber glove, eh?
Oh,
Yeah,
such
so-
experience.
I got a funny story about that just before we dive into this. I went into my doctor's. I got a standard blood test.
Funny story. Or?
Well,
Painful.
I went in for a standard blood test. Everyone have a laugh at this. So I went in, and because I had an issue, well, no, I didn't have an issue at the time. So I got a blood test. I go into my doctor.
By the sounds of it.
Let me tell you the story. I go in, the doctor says to me, Adam, we've got a student here from Bond Uni. Do you mind if she sits in? It's like this 21-year-old glamour, like from Bond Uni, little blonde thing. I'm like, no, that's fine. He goes, I got your blood test back. I'm like, hey, great. He says, so your PSA level's like off the charts. I'm like, what does that mean? And he goes, this is the leading indicator for prostate. I'm like, okay. He goes, so, jump up on the bench. I need to do a physical exam. And he starts putting on the rubber glove. And I'm like, fuck me, Paul. You could have told me that before I let the 21-year-old glamour in from Bond Uni. And
ask him to do it.
And so he gets me up on the table, right? And then he does what he does. And I turned around and said to her, if I see you at Pack Fair, just keep walking. This never happened.
next thing you know, he's here in the fruit aisle at fucking Woolies.
Oh, good God.
Anyway, boys, go and get tested.
Yeah.
If you've got kids especially, very important, guys. If you're a parent, I don't see any reason not to do this if you can afford it. So.
And it's not just if you're feeling down as well. It's for those feeling on top of the world. I mean, even if you're thinking about going out and taking supplements like Tribulus or TRT or peptides or things like that, which can accelerate the growth of any issues that you've got going on. So
I'm doing it because I got stem cells in February and I wanted to check first if there's any other underlying issues before I do it. So anyway, I just recommend it, guys. It's prioritize your health. It was $2,800 out of pocket. It's not cheap, but you're talking about life and death stuff here.
Yeah.
So moving on, I wanted to kick off today. We've got a lot to cover, but we got an email came in. I think some of you saw this, and this came from the female founder, or one of the female founders of a phenomenal manufacturing company here on the Gold Coast called Burley Brewing. And her name is Peter. She is really respected on the Gold Coast business scene. And she watches the show, and it's a big, long email, but I want to read two parts of it, which I just think are just so salient to what we're trying to do here at Unemployable. And also, the direction that we're trying to go in, remembering that there are small business owners out there, and they're probably a medium-sized business now, doing really well supported brand. I just wanted to read two parts of it because, and then I want to put a little spotlight on like we've been doing the Unemployable Spotlight. So she wrote in and she had a bunch of feedback to give us about the pod. It was overwhelmingly positive. But two parts. She says, does Australia make it more and more difficult to build a successful business, especially in things that genuinely generate something like manufacturing, property, brewing, etc.? Yes, it does. But at least Australia gives us the choice to give it a go here. As more and more commerce is conducted online and offshore manufacturing items, I can only assume the Aussie government will want to tax and regulate the things that are here under their noses and home soil even more. Call me crazy, but we feel like we're doing it and taking the hits for our fellow Aussies. Maybe a lot of small businesses and their owners feel the same. And then she went on to say, as per my comments in yesterday's episode about chasing home runs on every investment, is a surefire way to end in a disaster. I totally agree. I guess what we're taking the approach of in this business, for all its challenges, is that our best bet at creating our own home run that's mostly within our control. An initial investment is starting a business, followed by a bunch of hard work, can run rings around even Bitcoin returns over the last decade, and it can pay you a wage and a dividend along the way. So I think it was just a really, really good reminder that, you know, for all the bitching and complaining that we do about how hard it is in business, it still is such a great mechanism to really outperform everything. Nothing will perform like a great business.
Yeah, I think we've maybe, led by you and I, have potentially fallen into the trap of poo-pooing business just a little bit over the last six months. Like I notice myself now that I've shifted a lot of my investments to cash, given what I think the market outlook's going to be, putting more effort back into my business. Just did our first 5K week off Amazon. Like it is that thing. It is that go-to that you can sort of control, like she said.
And it's the engine for your wealth, right? And I think it was just a good reminder. I actually wrote exactly that back to her, Mark. I said, I think we are guilty of 3 out of 4 of us on the panel are no longer really driving businesses. James is doing property development. We're investing. Eric's still got, and if you're new listening, then you don't know, Eric's got a big e-commerce business. So it's $10 million a month business. So he knows what he's talking about in this area, but Eric's really the only one with an operating business per se. You've got one now that you've returned your focus to, that you've had in the background for a while, and I sold my e-com business a few months ago. So very interesting feedback.